now rocking with TDF everything. Spoiled rotten.
Spoiler alert.
Welcome and welcome back, everybody.
Hey.
It's me, Daniel,
And this is Ban.
on Spoiled Rotten. And today, oh boy, we are revisiting season 1 of My Adventures with Superman. Of course, I don't think either of us have watched this before, but we're late to it, so we're putting it under the revisiting category.
Yeah.
So this is a show that I feel like we did. The last episode you heard from us was the Batman Superman episode. I feel like this is another I just have to remind myself this is clearly for kids.
Yes.
Show.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing, but it's just something I had to keep in mind for myself.
I think there's some things that, because it's a kid's show, makes it work a lot better. But it's just one of those things where I'm like, what am I getting myself into? Because like the animations, the stills, and all that kind of stuff, love it. And then when you tune into it, you're like, oh, this is good. This is really, really good.
Cool. I was hoping you liked it. To be honest, this show did not keep my attention.
It
is. I don't think it's bad. I've only seen people say they like it, but outside of the animation, I was kind of like, I'm not jiving with this show.
Yeah, I can see that. I think one of the weaker points of it is the voice acting, in the sense where I'm like, I don't like that that's what Superman sounds like in this. He sounds like too much like a kid, and that does pull me out of it.
He's just Jack Quaid, which if you're in for Jack Quaid, then hopefully that works for you. But I do think my enjoyment of the show suffered from not really being a Superman fan, so I wasn't just like, oh, it's so fun to see him. I was kind of like, and I think Superman and Jimmy are in a different show than everyone else. They feel a little too wacky.
Yes.
In comparison to Lois, but definitely in comparison to like their version of Deathstroke. We'll get into it, but the general, in quotation marks, Amanda Waller, like all these people, I'm just like, they're not like, their wackiness does not fit for me with those villains. Those are the things that make it interesting to me, but they're not the focus of the show.
No, absolutely not. It's the friendship that the three of them have, and I'm like, it's cute, it's fun, but you're right. It's almost like I want those other characters to pull me into the lore of whatever it is they're doing, but then it's just like, oh, Jimmy's gonna be the third wheel of literally every situation that we're in.
They're gonna forget about him, or
yes.
Yeah, I think, as I said, I don't want people to misconstrue this as me saying this is objectively bad. It's just not for me. And we'll get into it. But I guess, to be fair to people, this first season is focused around Superman revealing his true identity to his friend, Clark Kent, Superman as Clark Kent revealing his true identity to Lois and Jimmy, and the basically really building up Parasite as a villain, and in general, I feel bad spoiling it in this part, but essentially the General Lane and him being like, I have to kill Superman. He's basically taken the Batman role in Batman v Superman of like, no, like something bad happened here.
Yeah,
I mean, it's even further removed than Batman because he didn't see Superman do anything wrong. He was just like, no, I know Kryptonians are bad.
Right.
And he's using elements of Task Force-esque, but not full on. Like, it's not the Suicide Squad, but he has Deathstroke, Amanda Waller's there.
Yeah.
And there's other villains, like I feel like Banshee's there, or White Banshee. I can't remember. I know Banshee's an X-Men, but like I feel like there is a White Banshee type version, and there's a Live Wire. There's characters but they're all redone for this show. That's, I feel like, the main push of this season. It's only 10 episodes, but like that's the main push. And my issue was I already knew what they were looking to reveal. Like as soon as they're like, "This is the general," I'm like, "Well, he looks
Hmm.
kind of Asian, and so does Lois. So,
Yeah.
what other general would this be but her dad?" But that's like a last episode reveal, and I'm like, "Oh, like what?" But I already thought this, and
I
I feel like the show plays like they have no idea who each other are until the show's
yeah.
like, "No, no, they're father and daughter." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah," but like anyway, that and also that he is still learning how to be Superman. I
Hmm.
think I got spoiled by the 1-2 punch of really liking Superman and Lois,
Hmm.
because that was like, no, this is like him after he's had kids. Like he knows what he's doing. And even though this Superman 2025 movie people say is an origin story, it isn't. And it
Hmm.
is him being like, I kind of know what I can do already.
Yeah.
I feel like there's room for him to grow, but he's not like, I don't know, can I fly? Or I don't know, maybe I'm not
Hmm.
bulletproof. And I'm like, you are. Look, let's just get to it. I think there's too much teasing things that I would imagine any Superman fan would already know. So
Yeah.
I remind myself, this is for kids. This might just be
Hmm.
their entry point for Superman, and that is good.
That is exactly the way I look at it. Is yeah, these are things that only would capture someone by surprise if they were brand new to the Superman experience, but
Mm-hmm.
know that they like the design and lore of the character
Mm-hmm.
generally, but have never seen the actual story. Because the thing I think that is really, really cool about this is that it is linear and not like the kind of um childhood TV superhero stuff that you and I grew up with. And I'm thinking Spider-Man
Well,
in
no,
particular,
Spider-Man is linear.
it is linear. However, there are episodes where you can be like, oh, that's isolated. But this one, it feels like, oh, you really have to pay attention to be like, wait, what's going on? Except for the fact that the consistent thing is Jimmy.
Yeah.
And it's not that I hate him, but the show relies too much on him as an entry point to the kids' point of view when they're constantly telling you and reminding you how young Lois and Clark and Jimmy all together are, and that they're all at the same level as interns, which is weird to me.
And that
So,
they're like, they feel like Jimmy's annoying for
yeah.
9/10 of the season, and then not even 9/10, but like I would say 99% of the season. And then at the end, he's like, I already knew you were Superman. This is annoying. I'm like, uh, could you have given me a hint that he wasn't just being like,
Mhm.
I don't want to say goofy. I just feel like he was just too much for me. I was not on board with him. And
Yeah.
then there was that episode where there was like the League of Loises, and they had a
Mhm.
Jimmy like a mirror version of Jimmy, and
Mhm.
they didn't like that Jimmy either. I know it was a
Yeah.
woman, but I'm just like, see, the show seems so committed to being like, this guy's annoying,
Yeah.
that I didn't feel like, oh, at least he knew it was Superman. I'm just like, oh, that's just sad. I feel like that's not.
I
I wasn't like, oh, there, he's smart. I was like, oh, that's really sad that he would still act like that, even though he knows his friend is lying to him.
that's how I felt with that reveal. I was just like, I wish they just were like, yeah, we didn't know. And like Jimmy
Yeah, like I wish he
specifically,
was just like,
because
I had my suspicions, but like he's just like, no, I already knew it, and I'm like, oh, and you're still acting like that, oh,
yeah, because to me it would have been funnier reminding myself that this is a kid's show if Superman came or Clark came out to Jimmy and was like, no, that doesn't make sense, and just keeps denying it. Like that to me would be like, oh, I see what they're doing.
yeah,
There's a
like
comedy point to that. And he's like, and I do agree. I'm like, he's too extra for me. It's, but the whole thing is the idea of him being like, yeah, I always knew. I'm like, I I don't see that being true, dude. I just see you
I
being more
again,
like I'm pretending to be too cool for the situation because I'm annoying. And I'm like,
but to be like, for me, as I said, like there was so many things where I'm like, yeah, I already knew that. That was one
mhm.
thing where I'm like, yeah, I see how he would already know. Like the way they were like, no, they were like in university together, they lived together. I'm like, there's no way he wouldn't feel this way.
Mhm.
Um, but as I said, it still was sad that his reaction was like, I would have wanted him to be. He only has a 1 second of being angry, of like, I can't believe you told her first, and it's just like,
Yeah.
Aren't you a little bit more upset? Like,
Yeah.
because I felt he did know.
Hmm.
I thought he was just, yeah, I just thought it was weird the way they played that. And
Oh yeah.
I, yeah, that they're so junior
Hmm.
is like, I get that there's room for them to grow, but I also want them to be a bit more established. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's my, I do think it's my own flaw of just being like, I don't really care that much about Superman, so
Hmm.
I at least want to see him like being interesting.
Yeah, yeah, because when I saw this, I was like, oh man, it really is the summer of Superman right now.
Hmm.
And that's great. But when I think about where I put this compared to the other Superman projects that we have reviewed, specifically this year, and with me turning the corner on Superman, I'm just like, yeah, this doesn't do anything to make me like him more. It does actually the opposite. Um, if this was one of the things that's like, hey, this is the only Superman thing we're reviewing this year.
Yeah, no, this came at a good time for you. I feel
Yeah. Yeah,
like
because it would have
especially
turned me off of Superman.
especially since you like the All Star Superman movie, which does do
Yes.
what you said, where
Yeah.
Lois is like, "No, you're not Superman."
Yeah.
I would have liked them just borrowing that storyline for Jimmy,
That's
but
why I liked it.
but the because I didn't like that movie either. I liked the storyline in the comics, but I didn't like the movie. And this show,
Yeah.
I was just like, I my enjoyment of the parasite thing and all the villains is always like compromised by me being like, but they're going up against this specific Superman, and
Yeah.
I don't see how the Jimmy of it all like factors in, or works well with that tone
It
from
really
like
doesn't.
Wilson Slade. And you're just like, or Slade Wilson. I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that's. I feel like if I were younger, would have been a bit more afraid of
Hmm.
Slade Wilson in this, but the rest of the characters don't really lend themselves to a show that could potentially scare you.
Hmm. Hmm.
It feels
It's
like it's like, yeah, we're just gonna have fun the whole time.
yeah, there's definitely and this is where the animated aspect of it works a lot better and pulls everything a lot better, pulls everything together for me because you're right, tonally, everything with like the Deathstroke version that they had here was just like, oh yeah, you're going very, very serious right now, which makes a lot of sense.
And it's
However,
done by a
we got
comedian. Like
yeah,
you're like this guy. Like if I didn't look it up, I wouldn't have thought, oh yeah, that's who's doing the voice. I can't remember his name now. He's from SNL. Like he's
oh
really.
really? Oh
Hold on,
wow.
I'll get it. Hold
But I
on.
mean, like, in all fairness, I do really, really enjoy comedians doing drama and all that kind of stuff.
No,
So
no, I'm just saying
I
like
can
it's
definitely see
Chris
it.
Parnell. Like he does like you
That
would.
is wild.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's
See,
Chris
like that's
Parnell.
Archer level guy, and I'm like doing this
Yeah, like he's
for Death.
Cyril figure. Like you always think of
Mm,
him as like the loser, and
yes,
he's not playing a loser in this.
yeah. I would have expected him to play Jimmy.
This is the thing. I'm just like, oh, like I guess I'm drawn to that because I'm like, well, this is an interesting performance from someone who
Yes,
I'm not like, I couldn't believe he could do something like this. It's more just like, he
mhm,
doesn't do stuff like this. So this is
correct.
interesting to me.
Correct. It's not like the Mark Hamill thing. Like when I was young and I never actually drew it together, like who the voice actor for Joker was, but found out like when I was 12 and I'm like, oh, that's Luke. I'm like, I never would have expected that.
And
This
that's,
is that same reaction for
I
Chris
like, yeah.
Parnell.
And I like that for myself and my relationship to Mark Hamill of like, in my mind, I'm not like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, Luke Skywalker plays Joker. I'm like, no, Mark Hamill plays Joker, and Mark Hamill plays Luke. Like, just two different
Yes.
performances, not typecast at all. Like, it's
Yes.
like, no, that guy has range in that way,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, which is cool. And I like Chris Parnell outside of this as well. It's more just like he's
Never would
doing
have
that
thought.
performance
Yeah.
when you're completely right. You would have thought he would have been doing the Jimmy or
Yeah.
something like that. And but then there's Jimmy, and you're kind of like, what is going on here?
Yeah, if you were to make a game where it's like you have all the voice actors and all the characters of this show and ask me to draw lines to be like which one's
Hmm.
which, Chris Parnell never would have been Deathstroke to me. Ever.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm impressed by it. I genuinely am because he does a good job. But tonally, it's so different, and I'm just like, yeah, Jimmy's gonna ruin
Jimmy's gonna ruin it. I mean
it.
that is, and I'm not that big on I like Jack Quaid, but
Yeah,
I'm not like
not
the
as
biggest
this.
fan of him as Superman.
I would have.
He's in Across the Spider Verse as Peter Parker, and I like that better.
Oh yeah, yeah, I like that better because it totally works a lot better. Jack Quaid as Superman would have worked if we were focusing on Smallville years, like
Yeah,
teenage years. That
which
would have
I'm
been
assuming this is
good.
supposed to feel like this is him right out of Smallville, considering he doesn't
Yes.
even know if he's bulletproof or if he can fly.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying like it's great that they keep reminding you how old he is, which is 22. And I'm like, okay, they say that multiple times through the whole thing. I'm like, all right, I appreciate that you're doing that because it does put it in perspective why you're so dumb right now. And the whole like I didn't when Lois was like, "How did you know you were bulletproof?" thing, I'm like, I feel like that's just good dialogue. That's good writing. Someone deserves something there. Because when he goes like, I just knew that you weren't. And I'm like, okay, cool. I
That's
see
a good
the
story. Like that's
yes.
good character development. Not, I guess it's not development, but it's a good way of highlighting where his head is at.
Absolutely. It's a good display of his morals and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, great. This is fantastic stuff. And then Jimmy's gonna ruin it because he's gonna come in later and complain that no one took him on the camp trip.
But I don't even think he ruined that. I think that's just like
No, for me, every time I
unfortunate
see
for
him, I'm just like, get
yeah,
out of
but
here.
they did leave him. It's like this weird thing that they chose to
Yes.
do where it's like
Yes.
I'm watching that episode and I'm not aware of like what's stopping them from
Hmm.
just being like, "Hey man, we're busy." Like they just completely forgot about him and I'm like, "I don't why?" Like
Yeah.
isn't he like I just couldn't imagine doing that to what I assume they're building Clark and Jimmy up to be as in terms of best friend.
No, I agree with that. I think this show is wildly inconsistent in that regard, and I think if it was like from the perspective of, oh, he's so distracted by Lois, and I'm like, because they have crushes on each other, then I'm like, yeah, that still makes him look shitty because you're
Mm-hmm.
still forgetting about a human being at the end of the day because you're, you know, um, got the feels for someone close to you.
Yeah, and I didn't love him slowly getting to telling her. I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like the show was trying to do like, oh, something just came up, and I'm like, he's Superman. He can just he can just tell her and move on. Like,
So when the show very, very much changed for you when he he did tell her, and I'm like, thank God. Okay,
mm-hmm.
I care a little bit more about this show now, because I'm just like, I don't want to watch a whole season of him just gaslighting her in this way, and well, in any way, but like just the idea of
And
like,
I
just
feel like
tell
he
her,
doesn't tell her. I
tell
feel
her.
like she's just like, all right, I'm jumping off the building.
He
And
doesn't.
yeah,
She
he
forces
had
it
this
on
whole
him.
thing of he was going to do it, and that's what I was getting annoyed when they were like, "Oh, something else came up." I'm like, just oh my god, no! Like
Yeah,
you
because when he
can't
shows
do
up,
this.
he's like, and all hurt from like Deathstroke's blade and all that kind of stuff. He goes like, "Oh yeah, I shaved." I'm like, "Yeah, that's not good lying there, dude. Like you've been caught. You've been caught in the situation. Either just like completely ghost and not return until the next day and make up some wild story, or just like don't bother coming back. Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing?"
and it's also weird because in the Superman movie, it's like a point of because they're further along in the relationship. Lois can be like, "You're not healing. This is a problem,"
Yep.
and so you feel the stakes for those characters that they're
Hmm.
like, oh my goodness, like something actually got you versus this Superman where they're not even quite sure if he would ever get cut by a blade or anything like that. So
Hmm.
it is just kind of like, I guess you were out doing superhero stuff
Yeah.
versus someone knowing that him visibly still being cut is a problem.
Hmm.
I was just like, I don't know. And to be clear, this came out before the Superman movie, but
Yes.
I saw it after. So this is kind of like, oh, well,
Well, I
there's just
mean,
beats that have happened better in other things.
it's just no matter what, it's going to happen that we're going to draw comparisons between all the same IPs
Yeah.
that we've
Well,
seen this year. And
that's why I said we're putting it
yeah,
under revisited. We're not treating it
yeah,
like just this new, completely new thing. It's like,
I
no, it exists
yeah.
in a world where we saw other things.
I do very, very much agree with that because like that's why I was like, yeah, if I was to place it with any of those, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm confident where it would end up, and it's not pretty. But it is just again one of those shows where I'm like, this is a kid's entry point into this show.
Hmm.
They have to make it so that the kids can't be too scared and all that. And from that perspective, I'm just like, yeah, we've reviewed stuff on this channel for that, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show as well as
The
the
movie.
Spider-Man show. No, the show from the movie.
But I'm saying both of them, the movie
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah,
show.
but yes. But those are fundamentally for kids, and it's like
But they're
the
still.
point we've always made is just because it's for kids doesn't mean it's a bad display of the IP that we actually know and love and all that kind of stuff. I feel like this actually is because of how they insist on making Jimmy Olsen
It's
just annoying and everyone else just shitting on him. I'm like, this just feels mean.
like I thought there this that again we will compare it to the Superman movie. I thought that the portrayal of that Jimmy was supposed to be like wildly different,
Yeah.
but then all the people that talk about like, well, this is like stuff from the comics, and I'm like, oh, so in that sense, I felt like, well, this Jimmy just feels like what I assumed Jimmy was like, and now know he's not like this,
Mhm.
like on the baseline. So yeah, it's disappointing. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he just seems annoying and getting in the way as opposed to
Mhm.
a genuine like. I understand they're further along, but they were showing you the beginning relationship of Superman and Jimmy Olsen in Superman and Lois, and even
Mhm.
there, he's not an annoying like doofus.
Yeah.
He's
He's
actively like, I want to be friends with you. Oh, you're
Hmm.
not gonna tell me the truth. As I said, this show had just a bunch of beats that I've seen be done better elsewhere.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and I felt like that Jimmy Olsen was especially good in terms of the whole like, yeah, come join the baseball team, and then him being like, well, you didn't show up, and there wasn't anybody who like got saved or anything, so I
Mhm.
guess you're not. You just don't want to hang out with me. Like that is
Yeah.
more interesting to me than just, oh, I'm just gonna act like nothing bothers me until like, yeah, and I already knew you were Superman. I'm like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
you should feel some way that your best friend is lying to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not great. And I mean like it I think my issue, and I hate that this is my issue with the show, is that a lot of my complaints center around Jimmy as a character.
Hmm.
And the show also treats Jimmy the same way. So I'm just like, why is there no love for Jimmy, but still having him in this show? Like,
Because
to this
he's
degree.
technically the third lead. Like
I
like
know,
it's
but
a,
it's
so no, I'm agreeing with you that it's why
oh,
bother have him be so prominent if you don't seem to care about him like that. And maybe
mhm.
season 2 things really turn around.
Hopefully, because I'm just like, is this going to change at any point? Just like with the Superman thing, I was like, is he going to keep trying to do the secret thing, or is he going to like actually be honest about it at some point? So I'm glad that the Superman thing happened, but the Jimmy thing never did, where it's just like, you're not you're not letting off the gas on this. It's just pedal to the metal the whole season.
Yeah. Um, I should say something I did like,
Hmm.
which was the Superman and Parasite tension, like
Hmm.
that he ruined this billionaire's whole thing,
Hmm.
and he became Parasite. And I like that Superman's like, oh, I can't fight you, or else you get stronger. And but there's also this again highlighting his personality and his morals of like, I never wanted to fight you. I just want to help people. And I
Hmm.
do think they do a good job of nailing that down.
Hmm.
That his thing isn't, oh, good, I get to beat up the bad guys. It's just, I genuinely want to help. And I feel like they used Vicky Vale for that too, to write that expose. But she's talking to Lois and Jimmy about, like, no, there's no, or is she talking to Lois and Clark? It doesn't matter. She's talking to Lois for sure. And
Hmm.
she's like, no, there's no way that this guy with all these superpowers would just want to save kittens. And so you're like hearing it from that side and seeing him be like, no, I don't want to like punch you till you listen to me. I would just rather help you not be in this problem.
Yeah.
And I did like that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the reason why I like the James Gunn Superman, where it's just like, oh man, did you the Justice Gang really have to kill the
The
kaiju
kaiju,
kind of
yeah.
thing? Because he was just like, couldn't we just find a different place for it? Like that's the kind of thing where I'm like, all right, yeah, that's where your heart is. That's cool, and that
Mhm.
is consistent within this show, which is why it was one of the brightest points of this show for sure. I'm glad you highlighted that because man, I've been complaining about Jimmy a lot.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, this show didn't really keep my attention, so like
Mhm.
the those were the main things I remembered. How much I didn't like Jimmy
Sure.
or Superman, but how much I was at least like, oh, what's going on with this bad guy? That's cool, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. I did also like the portrayal of Lois in this
Hmm.
because I really, really liked when there was this giant focus on her being like, okay, I think I want to say something, like, but I'll sound stupid if I can't prove it to be 100%. And that is
Hmm.
the fact that Clark is Superman. So, like, I do like that she's so committed that, and this is the dangerous part where I'm like, maybe don't show someone jumping off a roof in a kid's show to prove that someone's Superman. I just feel like that's a part where I'm like, is that is that consistent with something good for kids? Or I don't know, but like I wish they would have revealed that a different way because it yeah.
I
But
think
I
it's just
did
part
like
of.
Lois in
I
this.
feel like it's just part of Superman and Lois stuff in comics that
Yeah.
like she's always like. I remember we didn't really like that element of Superman 2 where she kept being like, "You are Superman, though," and he's like, "No, I'm not." And so she would do things like, "All right, I'm throwing myself in the river, and you're gonna
Yeah.
have to save me." And he would go out of his way not to be Superman to save her, and I'm like, but at
Yeah.
least in this show, she does it once, and he's like, "Yeah, no, 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 I don't want this to escalate. Not that you can really escalate from jumping off a building, other unless you use
Mhm.
like a bullet or something." But she didn't know he was bulletproof.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know because he's going to be jumping around and punching people anyway. It's already you're
Mhm.
going to have to just have the parent influence of that you can't really do this in real life.
Yeah, that's just
I all I can say is at least they didn't continue that trend of her putting herself in danger to prove it. Like
very much so,
the one
yes.
time he sees her put herself in danger, he's like, "All right, I
Yeah.
can't continue this anymore."
Yeah, the game of chicken was fully proven
Yeah.
the point. You're right there. And that's where I just show my novice as a non-breeder of how I would teach a child something. I'd be like, because I just find that whenever I put myself in that shoe, I'm like, oh, I'm probably being overcorrective or like too cautionary or something like that. Because I'd be like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is a kid's show. She just
Yeah, I
jumped off a
mean,
roof. And I'm like, that's yeah, that's what led to this, obviously.
as I said, I don't really feel like the um specifically we've already mentioned Deathstroke, but I don't think Parasite either work for how childish the show want to be.
Yes, it does not.
Um, you're already kind of at a they tone down Deathstroke's weapons, but the visuals are still there. Like if you know who
Hmm.
Deathstroke is, you see how they're adapting it for kids, but it's still like I don't know, man. Like that guy's way too intense. And Parasite as well, like how disfigured he is, and how he's like, "I'm going to kill Superman because of this." It
Hmm.
doesn't feel as child friendly as the rest of the show, which is kind of where I'm always gonna land on the on this
Yeah.
season of like it doesn't feel like a whole.
Hmm.
And yeah, like the Amanda Waller stuff, calling her Mandy. I guess that was the other thing.
Calling her
The show,
Mandy was funny.
the show. I'm like, why are you trying to hide who these people are?
Mm.
That to me felt like is like, are they afraid that kids are gonna be like, I want to be like Amanda Waller or Slade Wilson because they only
Sure.
ever call him like Agent Wilson, and she's.
Hmm.
I think she is called Amanda Waller, or you can at least read Amanda Waller at one point, but
Yeah.
on like audibly, you only ever hear Mandy
Yeah.
from General Lang. Um, and yeah, I didn't like that they tried to slow burn the reveal of who the general was. I'm like, it's
Yeah, that was dumb to me.
obviously is I shouldn't say obviously, as someone who has watched Superman and Lois and now knows of Sam Lane and
Mhm.
feels like I liked that portrayal of him.
Mhm.
Not that I'm not saying that's how he works in every version, but I'm also reading the Absolute Superman where there's a Sam Lane. I'm just like, it's Sam Lane. You called him Sam. What? Why are we hiding? You, because I think they call him Sam before the last episode. So I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like we should get on with this. But, the Slade Wilson thing
Yeah.
is fine to change, like to kind of obfuscate who he is, but
Mhm.
considering they wanted to do like a full episode about, oh no, my girlfriend's dad is the guy who's been trying to kill me, it feels like that could have been used earlier, and also is an intense thing that doesn't feel like that child friendly.
Mhm.
Again, for what they're doing in the other stuff with Jimmy and Superman,
Yeah.
that felt a little bit more like it's a kids show, but obviously parental advisory is advice.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I'm like, this show is weird to me, and there's got a lot of things that don't align in the sense where, yes, there is evidence of serious subject matter and more intense tonal stuff than the rest of the show, which begs some more serious consideration, let's say. And then the rest of the show, there's stuff that just like will pull you immediately out of any kind of, oh, we're getting somewhere kind of thing. Like that wasn't just a
And that's what
three
kept happening
episode
to me.
stretch.
I just
Yeah.
kept getting pulled out. Like,
No,
oh, okay, I don't care what's happening now.
yeah, I do agree with you because I was just like, oh, okay. A part of me was thinking in the first three episodes, this is how distracted I was. I'm like, I hope this is just a first arc, like first act arc where there's this like comedy thing, and then something happens to Jimmy. He overcorrects, gets too serious, and then finds a middle ground towards the end. That's what I was hoping for the whole thing. But it was
Yeah,
just like I
unfortunate for
said,
you.
the whole time just like gas. Gas, gas, and I'm like, no, not only is it annoying, but it's all the time, and there's no character arc for him. This
No,
sucks. It
yeah.
just sucks that I'm
Uh,
like, please let me like be interested in the Parasite stuff. Let me do this. Let me do this. Nope. Jimmy's gonna come and ruin it.
uh, yeah. At one point, don't they like they do successfully capture Superman,
Yes.
and it, that's kind of where you see Sam's like, we gotta kill this guy because
Yep.
he Sam and Mandy were part of the first Krypton invasion.
Yep.
Well, I shouldn't say first, as if there's a second in this show, but like
Mhm.
they were part of the Krypton invasion, and it was just like, we need to do everything. It gives you a good reason to be like, okay, that would, if Amanda Waller wasn't already who she was, that would definitely do it. And she's
Mhm.
like, what, that could happen? No, I'm gonna stick, and that they're working together makes sense. All of that, but they've got like this whole backstory where I'm like, again, this doesn't feel like, I'm not even that interested, and I feel like no kid would be interested in this. Why are we doing this? It's not lining up with, as I mean, when they did the flashback stuff, I
Mhm.
was just like, I don't know. Do we need this? I get it. They saw the thing, and
Mhm.
that kind of bonded them together.
Mhm.
Um, but I didn't feel like I learned something better by watching them back in the past.
No, no, because it never felt like they were in conflict with each other. It always felt like they were working together. So I'm just like,
Yeah, like I feel like they
oh,
had the most conflict with Parasite
yeah.
and Slade, who were
Mhm.
like actively trying to kill Superman, and they'd always come to the conclusion of like, well, we can't kill him,
Yeah.
and then you're like, yeah, they're a team. I I understand.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
get
and
it.
I'm just
I
like, yeah,
get it. They're a team.
you both work for the government, so it's just like, yeah, of course you two would get along. And then showing me a backstory where you two originally got along, and I'm like, I don't know what they're doing here. But then also, I think one of the biggest things that bothered me about this was that it was the whole plot point of like Superman was originally sent here to colonize and rule, and I'm just like, oh man, that's kind of dark stuff to put in this happy-go-lucky kids show that is wildly inconsistent. Because I'm just like, pick a lane here, because that's so
because
serious that I'm
because
like,
obviously the Superman movie is about that, but
yeah,
it
and
that's important to
Smallville,
him too. Like
yeah,
that's important to our main character, is that
hmm
he has to now reckon with that. Whereas I feel like anytime I saw Superman being sad, he was kind of just like, "Well, they beat me up." Like, and I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if he's upset that he learned that, or I like. I think he's pretty much like, "Well, I'm just a good guy. I'm a
Yes.
good guy." So there's nothing that he's struggling with there. He's just physically struggling because they got him.
Yeah, and there's very minimal support. And that would be a moment where I'm like, please let Jimmy actually shine through in this moment to
Yep.
justify why we keep him around. You know what I mean? It's just like, let him do a heart-to-heart speech. And he does at one point, but it's only one point in the season, and that's when he comes out, all that kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff. And I'm just
It's at the
like,
end, basically. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, great, he does that, he shows up for that, but also show up for this. Show us the reason why Jimmy is here, because you can't have annoying all the time, but have no heart behind it.
And I also didn't feel like Superman living with Jimmy stopped him from doing so. Like, I didn't feel like we even had it there to show how hard it is for Superman to
Mhm.
live this double life,
Yeah.
because you already have Lois, and that's most of the stuff of him being like, "Oh, she likes Superman, and
Mhm.
I like her, and I don't know what to do." So I didn't know what we gained from him living with Jimmy without having it be like Jimmy being. And I'm sure there's times where he's like, "Hey, where were you?" But it doesn't ever feel like it's an actual impediment.
Yeah. It doesn't
It
feel
didn't
like
stick with me, I
how,
guess, is what I should
yeah.
say.
It's not like how in like Superman and Lois, where it's like, oh yeah, this is what makes him unreliable as a friend from Jimmy's perspective, right? Where it's
Yeah,
just,
or
yeah, that would make sense.
what most Spider-Man stories do well, of
Yes.
like, he needs to pick doing the superhero thing over his
Hmm.
friend, especially in a season where one episode's really down to you didn't go on a camping trip with him, and it wasn't because he was doing Superman stuff. He was
Yeah.
just with Lois and forgot about him. I'm like, so there is there's no tension there, as you said. There's nothing going on here. Why? Obviously, I'm happy to have a black character there, but I'm just like, you should give him stuff to do, because I think
That's
we both agree the
mhm.
one character that doesn't need any notes is Lois.
Yes. And so
She
this
works the
is
way you would want Lois Lane to work in a Superman story.
correct. And to me, I'm like, that was one of the biggest questions I had is like, why bother making Jimmy black if they're not going to do anything with it? And it's weird. It's
I'm
just
assuming,
weird.
based on the voice, that
Yeah,
they were just like, we just like this guy who did the voice and he's black, so we'll make Jimmy black. Because I don't,
sure.
because it, it is such a cartoony voice,
Yeah,
and maybe there's, and he's black, so we'll just draw him black.
yeah. And
I'm hoping that's what it is, because there's nothing else
mhm.
really to him. He doesn't live a different life because he's black in this situation.
Yes, it's a universe where like I don't think race relations really play a integral part into what they're wanting to display here.
And
Um,
certainly not for Lois.
yeah, exactly. So to me, I'm just like, oh, so they just made him black for no reason whatsoever. It feels well, I mean, aside from the voice actor is black, but I'm just like, this is just one of those situations where it's they could have done something with that. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They could have. They just chose not to and just chose to make him annoying, which I'm just like, I don't love this. Because I just,
I guess that's the thing, is that I feel there's merit to all the white Jimmys, and they made Jimmy black in the Supergirl universe,
yeah.
and he wasn't annoying, so I guess I didn't feel like
Hmm.
they were screwing with him. Like,
Hmm.
I liked him in the Supergirl universe,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, on this one I'm like, oh, you made him a black person that's annoying, and no one really wants to be around.
Yeah. Like when Perry White treats him the way that she does, I'm just like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like they're a bunch of interns and they're constantly annoying you. Like Lois wants more, is always ambitiously annoying you, but Jimmy's just annoying you, and then Clark's just there. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, well, I get why Perry would be like treating Jimmy the way he does. And I'm like, all right, this is just a show that doesn't want to explore those kind of things, but commits to it for. whatever for the reasons that we talked about. But I'm like, just explore something about it because that's the one thing I'm like, oh, Jimmy Olsen's black in this. That's cool. Oh, they're not going to do anything with it. That
Nope.
sucks.
Nope.
And I'm like,
Uh,
oh, Lois is Asian. That's cool. Are you going to do anything with it? Nope. That sucks. So I'm like, what?
I guess
Point?
for me, I was just like, at least I like Lois as a character, so
Yeah,
it's just like, well, at least they didn't just get another white person to do it.
yeah.
But yeah, the Jimmy one feels a bit more. I do agree
Hmm.
with you that both of them should have something to do with uh having it not just be a reskinning.
Yes,
uh, I
because
guess
that's
it's a
what
poor
it
choice
feels
of
like.
words, but like at least with Lois,
Mhm.
again, like the actress and the writing bring her to life so well that you're just like, well, I just like what she's doing.
Yep, I agree.
Um, Also, I will admit that I got to episode 4 and definitely thought I was only on the second episode. I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm almost halfway through this, and uh,
That's the one thing I
those first
appreciate.
3 episodes are like a blur to me.
Yeah, I appreciated the fact that they were 20-minute episodes because I was just like, all right, let's blow through this, and it did help for sure because everything blurred together.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm missing a bunch of stuff, but I was just like, and I tried hiding my phone from myself, and I was like,
Right.
I can't. I just start thinking about other stuff, even if I don't have my phone. It is not keeping my interest.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm like, this is a show that would only keep a kid's interest. And to me, I'm just like, is this show trying to do that thing where it's like, okay, a parent will watch this with the kid, intended for that reason, and then there's something in it for the parent, which is the darker stuff, and then the kid is also got the fun stuff, the Jimmy stuff that's going on. I'm like, do people think this is fun? What did we learn
I
from
don't
the
know.
Jar Jar Binks incident? Like, what are we
I don't
doing
know
here?
because a lot of people who I respect who are adults like the show.
Sure.
Um, and I'm like, they must be Superman fans because like by episode
Um,
4, I was like,
I'm
this is
guessing
not
they
working for me.
are.
And my son, uh, I think he saw it a little bit before the Superman movie, but he is a Superman fan.
Yeah.
He told me to turn this off. He
Really?
didn't even want. No, he did not want to watch
That's
it.
so I think that if there was a Venn diagram between anime lovers and Superman fans, then
Maybe
this show
that's it.
would appeal to it. Because
Hmm.
to me, I'm just like, again, the Batman versus the Yakuza thing. I was very famously like, don't like anime, not gonna like this, and was very, very like, consistent throughout that. Here, I'm just like, yeah, this is the art style of anime, but with Western storytelling. This could be good. Nope,
No,
nope. I liked what I was thinking of that the show could be more than what the show actually was.
I would imagine. Yeah, I want to state it so that I'm not coming off like I think this is bad and people shouldn't like it. It's more just I didn't like what the majority of what I saw.
Yeah, I to me, this show had a lot of great ideas that were not connected together. And it's weird.
It
It's
is weird
weird when that
considering how
happens.
streamlined I feel like it is. It's like
Yeah.
d- Clark and Lois figure out the whole Ivo thing. They crash the party.
Hmm.
Superman basically doesn't create, but forces Ivo into like parasite mode,
Yep.
and all the while, Lois's dad and Amanda Waller are like, and we are collecting data on Superman, and we're gonna take him down.
Hmm.
They get him for a bit. I don't even remember how he gets out of there,
Neither do
and
I. Neither do I. I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you what they wrote of to get the technology to do it and all that kind of stuff because they didn't have kryptonite, they didn't have red sun technology. It was
they
just
do use
red.
kryptonite stuff in this.
Yes, but that
It's
was
not
very
like
much towards the end, and it was
yeah.
because of what like Parasite like just figures out toward the end. But I'm just like, it's nothing that Waller or Lang did or Lane did. So I'm just like, what is how did they even get Superman in this? I don't understand because
The
I was
Superman
very
thing, I
much
get.
tuned out.
He just got overwhelmed, and basically they were running him ragged, and he had like no sleep,
Oh,
and then they did the Bane thing.
so the
Like they
Bane thing,
basically,
yeah, except without breaking his back.
yeah, they did the Bane thing. They
Yeah.
like ran him ragged, and then throughout the season, the villains that were like, "Yeah, we'll take the Superman guy down," just all had their own reasons to be like, "I genuinely hate this guy. We're gonna get him."
Yeah.
So like it became way more personal for the bad guys they enlisted.
Yeah. None of the reasons connected with me, by the way.
No, I'm just saying that is what happened. I just don't
Yeah.
remember how he got out of it.
No, I completely agree. I that's what I remember happened. Having watched the show today, I just can't even remember what the show's justification of it was. I'm just being like, that's a great example of being these are just the great things, great ideas that do not get tied together very, very well for me.
Well,
It's
because I
not
feel like things
cohesive.
get dropped, and
Yes.
I am happy to see them get picked back up again,
Hmm.
knowing that there is a season 2 out.
Hmm.
And I don't think the show's canceled, so there'll probably be a season 3.
Hmm.
So I do have to acknowledge that I can't just be like, well, this season didn't work for me, so the show's like, because it's like they could pick things back up and recontextualize things and make them more interesting
Yeah.
in subsequent seasons
The
once they
th
know what works for them and what doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, based on what you're saying and based on the fact that there are multiple seasons of this, to me, I'm just like, people must like it, but it's not for me.
But I think if this had come out after the James Gunn Superman, people probably wouldn't love it the way I saw them loving it in real time,
Sure.
because I think this was the antidote to the whole Henry Cavill, Zack Snyder, I hate being Superman and I'm a god. This is genuinely a friendly, more human Superman, and that's what people wanted to see, and they got it in this show.
I see what you mean. Okay, so this, okay.
But
That context makes a lot more sense to me why someone would. I was just thinking anime and
I think
Superman
people like
lovers.
the animation style, and that there's
Yeah.
it's not it isn't anime, but they borrow visual
Yes.
cues from anime in more than just how it's drawn. Like
Hmm.
I feel like Jimmy and Lois do a bunch of like things that you would see in anime
Yeah.
for characters. Um, so I don't think that makes it not true that what you said earlier. I
Hmm.
just think that for Superman fans, this would have been a return to what they actually like about Superman.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's newer than Superman and Lois. I
Yeah,
prefer Superman and Lois, but this would have been like, okay, yeah, like this isn't a fluke, and maybe people would have dismissed Superman and Lois as a CW show
probably.
and been like, I don't care about that. But this is like the new thing that you watch.
The,
Again,
yeah.
I feel like it got there first, so like
Mhm.
there would have been a lot of. Whereas I saw Superman first, but I do think that everyone also universally agrees that that was a great representation of Superman,
Yeah.
unless they're trying to be obtuse and be like, no, bring back the Snyder stuff.
Yeah, yeah, unless they're like
That's I don't think
Snyderverse all
that's
the
in good.
way.
Yeah, I don't think that's in good faith. I think
It's
people who
not.
are actively engaging with the stuff agree that the movie that came out this year
Mhm.
was really well done in terms of making Superman uh, a good person again and what people would have loved about him before.
Mhm.
But this show came out first, and also I think you can also throw in that people like Jack Quaid. I like Jack Quaid,
Yeah.
so maybe they're just like this is just fun. I like it.
Yeah.
He's not brooding. He's having a good time sometimes, but in general, we've already pointed out the moments where he's actively trying to be a good person.
Yep. Yep.
So I think that has to be a big part of what worked for people in real time.
I mean, I appreciate the exploration of the context of the fact that this was released during the Snyderverse and that this would have been a better palate cleanser to be like, no, give me happy Superman because this is that. However, I think it overcorrects from the Snyderverse stuff and that there's no balance. Um, but I I don't know whether or not this show was intended to do that, but at the same time, like if that's what people like about this show, then I'm like, okay, I
Because I
would
know
have much rather rewatched the '90s show, the animated one.
because I
I'm
know
like that
people
would have been
didn't
good.
like that there was a East Asian woman as Lois Lane
Right.
or a black Jimmy Olsen. Again, those aren't people I think are engaging with this in good faith. They didn't like that she had short hair and
hmm
stuff. Like there's all those things where you're like, well, you're not watching the show. You
Yeah,
just
that's just
saw a
culture war
picture and you're
stuff.
like, I don't like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I shouldn't make it out to me to be like this was universally praised when it came out. I'm just talking about
hmm
people who actually engage with it.
Yeah.
Because obviously the James Gunn Superman has detractors as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
They
I'll
both
be
have their
like,
detractors, but I feel like they both have detractors from people who aren't engaging with it in good faith.
yeah, yeah. And to me, I'm like, I can understand if someone said that about Gun and still think that yeah you probably watched it, but if someone said that about this like culture war stuff as the primary criticism of this, I'd be like, I don't think you watched this because I don't think you would have sat down and watched 10 episodes of this, but I could feel someone sit down and watch a 2 hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like, so to me, I'm like, yeah, that culture war comment on Lois as well as Jimmy, I'm just like, yeah, that's even thinner veil of what motivates that discussion more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But my criticism of bringing up those things is just yeah, they could have just done something with it.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting to be like, what is an Asian Lois going to be like? Is that to me? And this is my projection of it. I'm like, that makes sense why she's the top of her class and
Mm-hmm.
overachiever and all this kind of stuff. But that's me being Asian. I'm like, without the show actually exploring that, that's just a stereotype that anyone can throw on on Lois at that point. And I'm just like, I just wish they would have engaged with the decisions that they made that are good decisions, but engage with them.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how the
We'll
see how
see.
season two
Yeah,
is.
what season
Not
two is
next
like.
episode, but we will get
Yeah,
back to it for
yeah.
sure.
Eventually, we will get there for sure.
Um, is there anything else you want to bring up?
No, nothing productive.
Yeah, I'm really hoping I like season two more.
Me too, because to me, I think it's a good setup for season two. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, are they changing the stakes? Are they changing the tone? Are they making it more serious? I actually think that because I'm
Mm.
like, okay, that would be something that makes a little bit more sense to me, but we will see.
I feel like what this show has going for it is the cartooniness.
Yeah.
It would be weird if they changed that. I do like just because I like the villain stuff more. I
hmm
don't think that's actually what the show should be chasing.
Right.
I do think it's just at odds with the cartooniness, but it does feel like that's the unique part of it.
hmm
Um, we'll see. We
Yeah.
eventually we'll see. But
The
yeah,
way
it didn't really work for me.
it doesn't work for me because the way I would describe this to people is, hey, this is Avatar Superman, like the Nickelodeon show
No, I know what you're
Avatar.
talking about, but people
Yeah.
genuinely think that's like great storytelling and good,
I,
and I don't
I
think
under,
that this is.
I mean, fairness. I'm just from the animation side because I'm like that is the
Oh
most comparable
yeah,
from an animation side. I'm like,
yeah, but
if
like
you like
this is
that
not.
animation and Superman, then you might like this. But also, don't expect much from the storytelling side of things. This
Yeah,
is
that's why I feel like the
dumb.
Avatar comparison might be a bit misleading.
It's gonna let down Avatar people for sure. But like me, as someone that didn't like Avatar or anime, I'm just using the animation
Mm-hmm.
comparison, not actually knowing anything about that. So I'm sorry if anyone was offended by that comparison.
I didn't think you were
Because I
gonna
get why
offend
they
people.
would be. I get why they would be because they're
Maybe,
like, how
maybe.
dare you compare Avatar to this? And I'm like, yeah, I would. Knowing the reputation of Avatar alone, I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry I went there, but I'm just talking about the animation style because that is very, very comparable in my opinion.
Well, I mean, what I feel like is the last, as someone who hasn't got past the first season of Avatar, I feel like the lasting legacy of that show is people's love of the like redemption arcs and season and like
hmm
multi-season things. So maybe maybe this show will get there.
Maybe,
Um, but yeah,
maybe Jimmy will grow up.
It did not for me in this season, but I understand what could be good about it, and also that I'm not that big of a Superman fan, so
Yeah.
just him being there wasn't enough for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's one thing I would like that would be, and I'm just thinking about this randomly, that if they made this Jimmy do, that I'd be like, okay, that does explain the character a lot more. Is if this Jimmy was really, really into improv, I'd be like, okay, that explains so much more because I'm like, improv people are very, very extra, and that is the truth. But I didn't say annoying, I'm just saying extra. But this Jimmy is annoying, and putting him in improv would make it work. Oh, funny. But I also have a feeling like the show would be like, yeah, even the improv people don't like him. He's like a Michael Scott.
Yeah. 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 Except for the audience also doesn't like him.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I guess it's
rough.
time to rate this.
Yep.
I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah.
For all the reasons I said earlier.
Yeah. I'm giving it a soft 4.
Oh wow.
I can't have good ideas not tied together and just there. I'm like, do something with it. Just do something with it.
Fair enough.
Oh, and the fact that I'm like, no, just give the mother and father a Kansas accent. Just do it. It sucks that they sound like they're from the city.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like that's
always the case.
We're
but
doing revisiting, so you're bringing in the James Gunn movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the case in Superman stuff, but now that it's more clear to me, I'm like, no, I'm gonna bring it up every single time. Like that is something that bothers me now. If they're from Kansas, make them sound like they're from Kansas.
Too late now.
Yeah,
they got the voices they've got. All right, well, thank you very much for listening, everybody. You can go to tdfeverything.com/spoiledrotten if you want all of our coordinates. That would be mine and Ben's. But you can find us at TDF Spoiled on Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok. Our email is spoiledpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on all the different podcast platforms. So please rate, review, subscribe, and share with your friends. Do all that good stuff. Follow, do whatever you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
This has been a TDF Everything production, brah.